Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Aces High, and today I'm bringing you guys something a little different. It's not going to be series. I have a few videos that several people have just been wanting me to watch in between the series. I figure this is the perfect time. I'm going to take 2 or 3 days and just watch a bunch of smaller, single video, non-series videos. So people have asked for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. I'm going to watch it. People have asked for, is France the next superpower? I'm going to watch it. And for the record, I think not, but we'll see. Uh, and then today I'm actually going to be watching a Epic History TV, The Greatest Speech in History, Alexander the Great and the Opus Mutiny. Uh, I'm really excited about this. It's not a long video at all. It's like 8 or 9 minutes, but I think it's going to be really, really cool. And yeah, it's just going to be fun. I don't know much about Alexander the Great. Before we get into that, I do of course need you guys to like my video, subscribe, all that jazz, blah 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 blah, whatever. Anyway, point is, I just want to know what you guys want to see next. So I am getting ready to start a new series in a couple days, and it's either gonna be Russian history first, the Ottoman Empire first, Julius Caesar first, more specifically like I guess the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, or Alexander the Great first. All 4 of those series I really, really want to watch, but I don't know which one to watch first. So if you guys have a really good channel that shows off some of their good videos, let me know. And if you guys have if you guys would prefer one of those 4, let me know as well, and I'll watch that one first. Either way, I'm gonna sit back, I'm gonna shut up, and let's watch Alexander the Great give us a great speech. Alright, let's see. In a brilliant 10-year campaign, Alexander and his Macedonian army conquered much of the known world from Egypt to the Indus River. Where is the Indus River? I'm sure he'll tell me. In 324 BC, they returned to Opus, near modern Baghdad, where Alexander ordered some of his Macedonian veterans to return home. Makes sense. They're probably getting a little older, I guess. Or was the army just too big to handle? I'm not sure. But angry at perceived insults to their honor, as well as Alexander's adoption of the Persian customs. Oh, okay. Wasn't that a problem with Julius Caesar as well? He kind of adopted some of the Persian customs, or maybe that's Alexander the Great I'm thinking of, I guess, probably. Anyway, they mutinied. Interesting. I don't know much about him, you know? Not at all. So when we watch that series, I'm sure I'll learn a lot. According to ancient historian Alexander executed 13 ringleaders before confronting the army. Really? Wow, so he freaking tore that down. Oh my god. Alexander's exact words are not known. Okay, so basically this is probably going to be hyped up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, all I can imagine is that it's going to be a little bit exaggerated, but it'll still be somewhat the same, I guess. But anyway, modern historians believe records records the essence of a real moment of history passed down by eyewitnesses. Okay, so yeah, if it's passed down by eyewitnesses, then I'm sure it was a fantastic speech. This is probably going to be much better than his original speech was, but possibly not, you know. Let's take a look. I'm excited to learn about this.
What I'm about to say isn't meant to stop you returning home. As far as I care, you can go wherever you wish. But I want you to know how you have behaved towards me, and how I have treated you. I'll begin, as is right, with my father, Philip. When he found you, you were mere peasants, wearing hides, tending a few sheep on the mountain slopes, and you could barely defend them from your neighbors. Under him, you began living in cities, with good laws and customs, and he turned you from slaves into rulers over those very barbarians who used to plunder your land. He conquered most of Thrace, taking the best harbors so there was trade and prosperity, and put the mines to steady work. The Thessalians,
Wow.
they used to terrify you. Well, we rule them now. The Athenians and Thebans, always looking for a chance to attack Macedonia, were so humbled, myself playing my small part in the war, that they no longer take tribute from Macedonia, but instead depend upon us for their protection.
His father, he really expanded their empire to, made it into that. That's pretty big in all reality. I know this is just a section of Greece and everything, but still, that's it's impressive, for sure. I just, in the history books, I never really heard about his father much. I always just heard about him. What sets Alexander aside?
My father went to the Peloponnese and put their house in order.
Wow.
Then he was declared supreme commander of all the Greeks for the campaign against the Persians. An honor not just for himself, but for all Macedonians.
Yeah, his father sounds amazing. Honest to God, I've never once heard of him. And I know that's just that maybe I did back in like 5th grade when we learned, ancient Greek history and things like that, but I just don't remember it. But everybody's heard of, Alexander. So I wonder how much he's got to be better.
This is what my father Philip did for you.
Yeah.
Great enough on its own, but small compared to what you've gained from me.
Okay.
I crossed the Hellespont, even though back then the Persians still commanded the sea. I defeated the satraps of the great King Darius, and made you rulers of Ionia, Aeolis, Phrygia, and Lydia, and took Miletus by siege. The rest...
Did they actually cross the Hellespont on the big ocean area? Or, it makes sense to cross over here, right? Or right here. Just the little crossings. It only makes sense, but I guess if they cross straight across, if they're able to make it, they can kind of get surprised because nobody will expect it. I don't know, I'll learn more when it comes to watching an Alexander the Great series.
The rest of the land surrendered willingly, and their wealth became yours.
Oh, cool.
All the riches of Egypt and Cyrene, which I won without a fight, are yours now.
Really? That far down?
Syria, Palestine, Mesopotamia, Babylonia, all belong to you. The wealth of Lydia, the treasures of Persia, the jewels of India and the Outer Sea. You are now satraps. You are generals and captains. What have I held back for myself apart from this purple cloak and diadem? Nothing. No man can point to my riches, only the things I hold in trust for you all. And what would I do with them anyway? I eat what you eat. I get no more rest than you. Many times I have spent the night on watch so that you could sleep soundly. Who among you believes he's worked harder for me than I have for him? Come on! If you've got scars, strip and show them to me. I'll show you mine. There isn't one part of my body, the front at least, that doesn't bear a wound.
I like that line. See, I don't know if I guess we'll never know if that was the original line in his speech or not. But if you have something along the lines of, if you have scars, strip and show me, I'll show you mine. So he's like, I have battle scars too. I've fought in these battles. And he goes, I have them all over, on the front at least. So he's saying he has no scars on his back because he has not run from a battle. That is a cool line.
My body's covered in scars from every weapon you can think of. Swords, arrows, stones, clubs.
Wow.
All for the sake of your lives, your glory, and your wealth. And yet here I still am, leading you, as conqueror of land and sea, rivers, mountains, and the plains. We've celebrated our weddings together. Many of your children will be cousins of my own. I've paid off your debts without asking how you got them, even though you're paid well enough and pillage every city we take. Many of you wear golden crowns, badges of courage and honor given you by me. Any one of us who was killed, who met a glorious end, we buried with full honors.
Oh, wow.
Many now stand immortalized by bronze statues in Macedonia. Their families are honored and pay no taxes.
Wow.
Under my command, not one man has been killed fleeing the enemy. And now, I wanted to send back some of you who've been wounded or crippled, or have grown old, to be welcomed back home as heroes. But since you all wish to go, then all of you, go! Go home and tell them that your king, Alexander, conqueror of the Persians, Medes, Bactrians, and Scythians, who now rules over the Parthians, Chorasmians, and Hyrcanians as far as the Caspian Sea, who's marched over the mountains of the Hindu Kush, crossed the Oxus and Tanais rivers,
Jesus.
even the Indus, first to cross it since Dionysus himself. I would have crossed the Hyphasis too if you hadn't cowered in fear.
Well, there's the Indus
Who
River.
sailed into the Great Sea from the mouth of the Indus. Who crossed the desert of Gedrosia, where no one had ever led an army.
Jesus.
Who took Carmenia, while my fleet sailed the Persian Gulf. When you get home, you tell them that when you made it back to Susa, you abandoned him and went home, leaving him under the protection of the foreigners you'd conquered. Perhaps this report of yours will seem glorious in the eyes of men, and worthy in the eyes of the gods. Be gone!
Jesus. What a speech, man. I understand that that wasn't word for word. It was just kind of passed down, and I'm sure it was exaggerated, but that is a speech. How can anybody be mad at the guy after that? Like, Jesus, man. You can't you can't leave after that. I think that's about it. Let's see. After the speech, the Macedonian troops begged Alexander for forgiveness, leading to an emotional reconciliation between the king and his army. Awesome. Alexander began to plan further conquests, but in Babylon, less than a year later, he succumbed to an unknown illness and died at age 32. He really died at just 32. I was when they showed his father at the beginning, I didn't want to pause it and say anything, but I was looking at his they showed 2 years. I'm assuming that's his birth and death, not the years he ruled. And it was like 48 years. 48 seems closer to, at the time, an older man, but 32 still seems young, even for way back when. That's incredible. Imagine what he could have done with more time.
Thank you to all the Patreon supporters.
Okay. Yeah, let's have a chat, you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible how much he could have done with more time. Now I'm really excited to watch the Alexander the Great videos. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very excited to watch the Ottoman, the Russian, just everything. But yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys. Let me know what you guys want to watch. I'm really excited to see. And whatever one gets the most comments, or if you link me to like some really cool videos that you think I'm going to like, maybe I'll check them out. But like I said, we still do have a couple more days. I want to watch the Queen's coronation. I want to watch Is France a Superpower? And then we'll get into our next series. Anyway, I hope you guys liked it. Till next time, this is Aces High, and I'm out.